Hello everyone, welcome to the online video lecture series for the subject Python application programming for the semester 6 according to VTU syllabus. So today we'll be starting with the second chapter from module 3, that is chapter 9, dictionaries. So this chapter, dictionaries, deals with the concepts of counters, the frequently occurring words are counted and the count is returned, and also dictionaries and files concepts, and using the looping concepts in dictionaries, and advanced text parsing using make trans. So these are the contents from the chapter dictionaries. So let us start the chapter dictionaries. So what is a dictionary? So dictionary is like a list but more general. So in a list we have index positions. So and the index positions are always integers. But in dictionary the indices can be anything, anytime. So you can have a dictionary as a mapping between set of indices and a set of values. So each key maps to a value. So here in dictionaries, we have the concept of key and values. So the key and value are associated. So each key maps to a value. So this association of key and value is called key value pair or sometimes an item. So here you can see the function dict creates a new dictionary with no items, so that is an empty dictionary. So again, this is a keyword and a built-in function, so we should avoid using it as a variable name. So here we are going to define a new dictionary using the keyword dict. So this is the function dict, which creates an empty dictionary. So you have to name this dictionary. So here we have named it as English to Spanish. So in short form, it is ENG to SP. So when we print this dictionary, that is English to Spanish, so you get an empty pair of braces because there are no items or key value pairs defined in the dictionary. Okay, so this is how we are going to create new dictionaries. So how is that? The dictionary is created with the keyword dict. So that is the built-in function dict with the parenthesis, and a name for the dictionary is supposed to be given. So when we print the dictionary, so you can see the empty pair of braces being displayed because there are no items in the dictionary. So this is the way to create a dictionary. The curly brackets represent an empty dictionary. So to add items to the dictionary, we can use the square brackets. So here you can see in this example. So this is our dictionary, English to Spanish. So within the square brackets, by using the square brackets, so you can define the elements in a dictionary or items, or you can add items to the dictionary. So here my key is 1. So which is represented in single quotes. The value for this key 1 is uno. So here you can see this is the English and this is the Spanish version meaning of this English word. So 1 in Spanish is uno. So here you can see this forms a key value pair. So when we print this dictionary, that is English to Spanish, so you can see a key value pair, that is 1 uno separated by colon. So that is how the items in the dictionary are displayed. So here you can see when we print the dictionary, so the one key value pair is defined in this dictionary. So this is key and this is value. So this both are separated by a colon here. So if you have more than one key value pair, so that is being distinguished by a comma. So comma will distinguish each key value pair. So what is this? This is the key and this is the value. So these are called as the key value pairs. So you can have as many as key value pairs within a dictionary. So this line creates an item that maps from the key 1 to the value uno. If we print the dictionary again, we see a key value pair with a colon between the key and the value. So we can have as many as key value pairs. So here is an example. So you can add any number of key value pairs. The first key value pair is 1 uno. So it is separated, that is distinguished by a comma. So this is one key value pair. This is the second key value pair and this is the third key value pair. So the second key value pair is 2 those. So with a colon, and also this is distinguished with a comma. So here you can see the third key value pair. So this is the key and this is the value, 3 tres. So this is English to Spanish dictionary. So that is why we have included these key value pairs where the key defines the English word and the value defines the Spanish meaning of the English word. So when we print this dictionary, so you can see this key value pairs being displayed in a curly braces, and also you should note that there is no order for the items in the dictionary. So you can see here the first key value pair is 1 and uno, the second key value pair is 3 and tres. So because we have the value being the offset value of this value is the 1. Always this value refers to this key. So whenever we want to print key, this value will be printed. So order is not a problem here because it is defined as a key value pairs. So for that particular key, only that corresponding value will be printed. So that is why there is no order in the dictionary. The order of key value pairs is not same. In general, order of items in a dictionary is unpredictable. So you use the keys to look up the corresponding values. So when we use the key here, so in this example, I want to know what is the value for the key 2. So when I use this in the statement, so it is like print the dictionary value of the key, that is 2. So you can see the output, those being displayed. So through keys, we can display the corresponding values. So also if you want to display the key based on the values, so we can do so using the values method. So the key 2 always maps to the value those, so the order of item does not matter. So if the key is in the dictionary, you get an error. So here you can see we have not added any key value pair with the name key, that is 4. So when you print the dictionary with the key 4, so you can see key error 4 because 4 is not present in our dictionary. So length function also works on dictionaries. It returns number of key value pairs. So when we use this length function for the dictionary we have defined, that is English to Spanish. So you can see the length 3 being displayed because we have 3 key value pairs. So the in operator also works on dictionaries. So in is a Boolean operator. So if that key is present in the dictionary, it returns true. If that key is not present in the dictionary, it returns false. And also you should note that the value cannot be compared in this. So value cannot be used to look up to the dictionary. So here you can see in this example, so it checks only for the keys. So here 1 is a key, 1 in English to Spanish dictionary. So it returns true because the key value pair with key 1 is present in English to Spanish dictionary. So whereas the same value, if you check for value in the dictionary, so that is uno in English to Spanish, it returns false because it only looks up to the keys and returns the corresponding values. So that is why if you want to check for values, so previously I told that there is a method called as values, so we can use that. So let us learn the example of using values. So to see whether something appears as a value in a dictionary, you can use the method values. So which returns the values as a list and then use in operator. So yeah, then you can use in operator. So vals, so list, so we're going to use the keyword list. So what happens is it converts the dictionary to the list and then it checks for the word in list. So here you can see using the values method, we are going to convert the dictionary to the list, and then when you check uno in vals, so it returns true because it checks value. So the first topic in this dictionaries subject is dictionaries as a set of counters. So we have learned the basic concepts of dictionaries. So what is dictionary? So how the dictionary is represented? So how will it be represented? So the key value pairs, in operator, then length function, all these things we have learned in the previous slides. So we'll go to the first topic defined in this chapter, that is dictionary as a set of counters. So what is this dictionary as a set of counters? So if you want to count, so suppose the characters in a word, a long lengthy word, so then you can use this dictionary as a set of counters, but there are three ways we could do it. So if you want to count the number of alphabets appearing in that word, okay. So suppose you are given a string, you want to count how many times each letter appears. So then there are three ways we could do that. So the first way is we could create 26 variables. So one variable for each alphabet. So there are 26 alphabets, so we could create 26 variables. So then we can traverse the string for and each character. For each character, increment the corresponding counter and probably using a chained conditional. So that is one way, which is lengthier because you have to declare 26 variables. And the second way is we could create list with 26 elements. So then you could convert each character to a number and use the number as index to the list and increment the appropriate counter. So this is also another lengthy concept. So where you have to create a list with 26 alphabets elements and then convert each character to a number. And the last way we could do is, and the most feasible solution and the most effective solution is using a dictionary. So we can create a dictionary with characters as keys and counters as the corresponding values. So first time you see a character, you would add an item to the dictionary. So after that, you would just increment the value for the existing item. So each of these options performs the same computation, but each of them implements the computation in a different way. So the solution is using dictionaries. So here in this example, so I have the word Brontosaurus. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to count the appearance of B. How many times B has appeared in this word Brontosaurus? How many times R has appeared in this word Brontosaurus? How many times O has appeared? How many times N? So like that, each and every character I'm going to check the number of times it has appeared in this string. Okay, so for that I'm going to use the dict function. So what this dict function does is it creates an empty dictionary, right? So here we have named the empty dictionary as D. So you can see this is my empty dictionary. So initially I have nothing in this dictionary. So I'm using the for loop. So to count, to traverse each and every character in this string. So here, so for C in word. So what is my word? That is Brontosaurus. So what is this C? C is the iteration variable. So which traverses through each and every character here. So here first the C for loop traverses the word. So the first character is B. So the first traversed character is B. If B not in D, so here in my dictionary, so initially my dictionary is empty because we have created an empty dictionary. So in my dictionary, there is nothing, so it is empty. So, and B is not in D. So B is not present in D. So what I do, I assign B 1. So here I assign the character B to 1. So you can see that is how this works. So, and again, so the next letter will be traversed, so that is R. So if R not in D, so yes, R is also not in D. So again, I assign 1. So it goes on. So next character is O. So O is not in D. So again, O will be assigned initially 1. Next, N. So N is also not in D. So N is also assigned the value 1. Next, T. So T is also not in D. So the letter T is also not in D. So T will also be assigned 1. Next, O. So O, it is already present. See, O not in D, this becomes false. So it will come to the else part. So what happens here? O is equal to, so that is 1 plus 1. So previously D of O, that is, it was 1. So it will be incremented by 1. So that is O becomes 2 here. The value of O will be 2. The value of O is 2 now. And then again the next character will be traversed, that is S. S is not present in the dictionary D. So S will be assigned 1. Next A. So A character will be traversed. A is also not present in D. So A will also be assigned 1. And next U. So U is also not present in dictionary U. So it will also be assigned initially the value 1. Next R. So R was present previously. So this if statement becomes false, so it will come to the else part. So R previous value was 1. So it will become 1 plus 1. So this becomes 2. The value of R becomes 2. Next, again, the character U is traversed. So U is also present in the dictionary. So this if statement becomes false, it comes to the else part. So previous value of U was 1. So it will be incremented by 1. So now U also has the value 2. So next last character is S. So S is also present previously in the dictionary. So this becomes false. It comes to the else part. So the previous value of S was 1. So it will be incremented by 2. So now, so this will be the final output of this program. So here you can see, so these letters or characters have appeared these many times in this string, that is Brontosaurus. So that is how you can use these dictionaries for counters. So the output for this particular program will be in the form of key value pairs. So you can see here, and again it is not in the order. So you should observe that. So A appears once, B appears once, O appears twice. So N once, S appears twice, R appears twice, U appears twice, and T appears once. So all these are in the form of key value pairs separated by commas. So this is the output for this particular program. So this is how you can use dictionaries as counters. So dictionaries have a method called get that takes a key and a default value. If the key appears in the dictionary, and get returns the corresponding value, otherwise it returns the default value. So this is the modification for the above program. So here we have used the get method that takes the key as a default value. So if that key appears in the dictionary, it returns the corresponding value. If that key is not present in the dictionary, it returns 0. So that is the default value here is 0. So here, according to this dictionary, so our dictionary name is counts. So it has 3 key value pairs, Chuck 1, Annie 42, and Jan 100. So here print counts, so get the key value that is Jan. So if Jan is present in this dictionary that is counts, so it returns the corresponding key value. Otherwise, it returns the default value that is 0. So here Jan is present in this dictionary. So the corresponding value for Jan was 100. So 100 will be returned. So similarly, we can check for other key value. So that is Tim key. So Tim is not present in this dictionary. So it returns 0, that is default value. So that is the use of get in dictionaries. So also we can use get. So get automatically handles where a key is not present in the dictionary. We can reduce 4 lines down to 1 and eliminate the if statement. So here you can see the above, the previous program for Brontosaurus is being modified by using the get keyword. So same thing here. So if that particular character is present in the string, it returns the corresponding value. Otherwise, it increments the value and it returns how many times the key has appeared in that particular string. So this is the, today we studied about the dictionary, basic dictionary, how to create a new dictionary using the dict built-in function in operator. So length of the dictionaries, and the first topic that was dictionaries as a counter. So we can also see the frequency of letters appearing in a string or a word. So we can count the number of appearances of each letter in a string. So all these concepts we studied, and also a shortcut method called get method, so which reduced number of lines from the code to again do the same thing, that is counters. So to check the frequency of the words appearing in the string. So these were the concepts we studied. So the remaining concepts will be studying in the next video. Thank you.